The DFWI Radio Morning Show.
Okay, you want to rehearse it one time before we go on the air?
With award-winning journalist Cheryl Smith.
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Bringing you informative, enlightening, thought-provoking, inspiring, and entertaining talk radio. And now, Cheryl Smith.
We love this girl with us here today. We're live here at the museum, and that is a mouthful. The name of this museum, National
Multicultural Western Heritage Museum.
And beautiful four-party word. And we're here with Miss Pam Grier. We're talking about health, getting all kind of recipes, and just talking about being healthy, eating the right things, so that you know, some people say, oh, it's too expensive to buy organic.
It is. A cucumber is $1 when you can have it in your garden or go to a community garden and get, 10 of them for $1.
Right.
And it's so healthy for you. But we have to be agape, we have to be open to health and not changing your diet so you feel deprived, but varying, giving it a different flavor, because you don't have to give up. Once you nourish your body in the morning, you will be less likely to crave that big, thick steak in the afternoon, and eat a 4-ounce piece of meat for your protein source, whether it's meat or chicken or fish, crab or shrimp or bass or whatever, a fresh or saltwater fish. But we run out without breakfast, so we eat more at night. And we eat after 6 o'clock, and our bodies only manufacture and works 12 hours from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's it. And anytime you eat after that 6 p.m., that 12 hour, it's stored, and your pancreas is overworked. That's why we get diabetes. And you feel hungry, and your muscles ache, and you don't feel good. And what do? You eat comfort food, potato chips, inflammatory white starches such as white rice, white potatoes, and white pasta. And those inflammatory foods are good for us. We need to slow down the process. You see, fast living, fast food, fast life, fast death.
And you had some of your relatives live to be 100.
They all lived over 100.
Right.
The youngins were in their 90s, high 90s. Those are the youngins.
Like I have an aunt now in Little Plant City, Florida, the strawberry capital, and she's 95.
And they drive.
And
travel.
We let her drive, but
she can drive.
But
oh my God.
She's amazing, because I'll come there and I'll say, oh, I want a boiled egg, and she'll get up to fix it, and her children will say, we have to boil your eggs. Why are you getting up to boil her eggs? And she said, well, I'm trying to take care of her, make her feel good.
Yeah, as a gesture.
But my family does tend to live long, but then, there are different diets. I saw the ones who had different diets and how they didn't live. They dealt with diabetes. They had serious kidney problems. And
Kidneys overwork. Well, the kidneys fill up with fat cells from too much polyunsaturated fats, and pretty soon it's no longer functioning, because it's just the filter. It is a filter, has filled up. And there's no way to go in and clean out the filter so it can start the process again.
Now, what started you? Have you always been health conscious?
Oh, yes. Before I had cancer, I was health conscious, because my family, Wyoming and Denver, always had huge vegetable gardens. And some days they didn't have meat. And if they did bring in venison, deer, or elk, or antelope, they marinated in wine and garlic and onions and hot sauce and pepper for days to get the gamey taste out. But we didn't have meat every day.
And so when you hear all of, what do they taste like? And don't tell
me. Oh, they taste
chicken.
Fantastic. They don't taste like chicken.
Oh,
they taste fantastic with the spices.
The
but
spices
it was.
don't
But
make
in the next day, I have this huge burst of energy from that amount of protein that I had. But we didn't eat. The country folks did not eat bacon and beef every day because they didn't have it. They ate vegetables. They had vegetable stews, and vegetable, and then they would have fresh cornbreads and breads that were unrefined, that had flavor and texture, and the butters and that they made and churned that morning was fresh.
And they could actually sit out, sit out there. And we ate a lot of things. It was really funny in going south to visit my relatives, because we ate things like, one family I know that for breakfast they would actually fry chicken.
Oh, they were rich. That was great.
Fried pork chops for breakfast, and then you might eat that same thing. the
But it was
rest of the
probably an
day.
organic pork chop that came from them, close to them, as opposed to
Very
being in a plant, shipped, frozen, and processed for so long. But in our family, even though they could have had pork, that would be for a holiday. They had their own turkeys. We had pheasant. We had sage hen game. A lot of prairie hen for protein. But if we didn't have it because it was seasonal, they ate a lot of collard greens and mustard greens and turnip greens and a lot of vegetables, as roasted turnips and beets and carrots and potatoes. And when they made these sauces, and it just tasted so good. And you got your fiber, and you thought you were eating a piece of meat, and it was a turnip.
So, well, how was it going from eating like that to going to
I still
Hollywood?
continue it. I never. Hollywood is a state of mind. I always remained in Colorado, but I live in hotels when I'm on location, and every location has been outside of Hollywood, outside of Los Angeles.
Right.
Even film companies in New York are outside of Hollywood, and they're on location. But I always find a source of either finding my own produce to bring back and prepare myself, or I look at their menu, and many of the hotels have these diet-conscious menus of vegetarian plates, and you can put your sauces and spices on them if they're bland. Because I know, we always have, I travel with those little bottles of Tabasco in my purse. When they have you put your liquids in the small sandwich bag, there's like 10 bags of 10 bottles of Tabasco sauce. And then they go, what's that? I said, hot sauce. What does it look like, And it's under the amount, so I always travel with that.
And that's healthy.
It's very healthy. Very, very healthy. But I always get my portion of nutrition in the morning, so I'm not starved by lunchtime, and
So
even
you
more
eat
starved by
well.
dinner. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what did
I
you
had
eat
a
this
white
morning?
egg omelet with chopped vegetables, lots of vegetables in it as a saute. And the thing with eggs, you lower your cholesterol by not eating the yolk. But you can still have a frittata with all the sauteed. And onions and garlic will make anything taste good, with oregano and
it
basil.
smells good, some celery.
And that will, staunch meat eaters will eat vegetables if they're seasoned properly. And then I've got the kids in our family to use lettuce, the iceberg lettuce, to make lettuce wraps. So we'll saute vegetables, get them off of the chicken. If we don't have organic chicken, because we eat no foods with hormones in it, period. And it's expensive. So you chop up, we have my sister's 11-year-old twins, boys, athletic, gifted. They have breakfast because what I've noticed is the most intense classes in the morning at school are math, sciences, and English and history. They're not in the afternoon, and then kids can't get that. Go to Starbucks and get a caffeine fix between 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they have breakfast. They pay more attention, and all of the proteins that are in the vegetables. So they'll have a saute either with a white egg, which is a liquid, or they'll have the vegetable saute of all, and they love zucchini. They love broccoli, they love tomatoes and onions, and they just love the smell of it in the morning. And they'll wrap it in a lettuce leaf.
Now that's great.
And they will eat it like a burrito, and they're happy, and they get the fiber they need, they need the minerals that they need, and they go to school, and they're vibrant, and they're running around. You feel good. They're cleansed. They feel good, and they perform better academically.
And that's what we need for our children, because we're saying, why are they acting out? Why
They have a
there's
sugar.
reason.
They've spiked from the sugar in a lot of the foods. Some of the worst foods you can give a child is a PBJ, peanut butter and jam, on white bread. That sugar and that carb is going to spike them, and then you think they have, some ADD or some other. Their diet what they had. You change their diet, and they don't have those issues, and you don't have to take them to a doctor where they're giving them antipsychotics and antidepressants, and all it is diet.
And and this is so important. They need to hear this, and I see you nodding your head, because the nurses, the nurses would see a few students back in the day, but
Right.
now they have a continuous flow of students because they're giving them medication.